Just before we start, I'd just like to say to everyone who left a comment with condolences for Pippi's passing last week, we were so touched by your thoughtfulness, and just to say a huge thank you to everyone. We really, really appreciate your kindness. Thank you. Hello everyone. Today I just wanted to talk to you about why am I on my herbal path and why I think you should be on a herbal path too. There's many more benefits than you would imagine perhaps. I'm actually out here now. I've just sown some lemon balm seeds. So I'm just going to pop those into the hot box. And I've got some other seeds to sow as well. So I think I've mentioned that I am doing a horticultural course which is including biodynamics and electroculture, and it's very different to horticulture courses that I've done before, and I was invited to attend because they want me to give a lesson about herbs, and I'll be talking about the wild medicinal plants that are regarded as weeds, but I'll be doing that in a few weeks. So today, the little that I do know about biodynamics, I know that today is a leaf day. So it's a perfect day for sowing some of the herbs. So that's why I've just sown some lemon balm, and I'm going to sow some holy basil now. And I have parsley, and then I've got some various greens to sow as well. So thinking about herbs, you know, you might wonder, how did I become interested in herbs and why do I bother with them, and what's the difference between a herbal path and maybe some other kind of holistic path. So I just thought I would explain my reasons for being on a herbal path, and it might inspire you to take up a herbal path as well. So I've always been the sort of person who prefers the natural and the holistic if given a choice in anything. So I've always leaned towards natural therapies anyway. And then I think what is so wonderful about herbal medicine is it brings you outside, it brings you out into nature. And we all know that having contact with nature is very beneficial, whether it's for your immune system or your mental well-being or your physical health, because you're out and about, you're getting fresh air. It just does a lot of good things for you. I think when you're out in nature, you begin to notice things and you begin to see things and you begin to think, what is that and what can that be for? And why is that growing there and why is that growing somewhere else? When you start to go outside, it sparks off a curiosity and an interest, and all of that is really beneficial for your general health anyway. So for me, I really began looking at the wild plants and looking at the weeds that were growing in the garden when I began growing vegetables about 15 or 20 years ago. What are these weeds doing here? Can we use them for something? And then you discover that most of them are medicinal in some way. So I prefer to think of them as medicinal plants rather than as weeds. So there is medicine on my doorstep. So I became interested in herbal medicine because I personally don't want to have to rely on allopathic pharmaceuticals, and I didn't want my children to have those. So it just became really a natural step from being outdoors, then growing food, and then you look to what you can do with the plant medicines that are out there. And so I would have begun working with plants such as dandelion, nettle, yarrow, plantain, all the things that are growing around me. And then I went and I trained to be a herbalist, and I went to various teachers. But the other benefits are much bigger than just being able to brew up a cup of tea for a cold or for whatever complaint. And I think the biggest benefit is that you go into a relationship with the plants on a more esoteric level or a more metaphysical. You certainly develop a connection to the spirit of the plants, because when you communicate with plants, when you speak to plants, you begin to hear them, and you just develop your intuition so that you begin to know, this plant might be really good in this circumstance. Get down! Get down! These naughty kittens. They just love to hang around wherever we are, and so hence they're jumping up near my other little sowings that I did. But anyway, once you get to the point where you feel you're in communication with plants, your respect for them grows, your care for the environment grows, and you know that you have allies and friends outside the house and outside your human circle of friends. And it's just a very reassuring feeling. You can, lots of people might have a favourite pet that they will talk to in private, maybe share their concerns about things. And that's a lovely thing to do. Yeah. But you can do that with the plants as well. And your open heart and intuition is what enables you to hear them. And they've always got good advice. So I suppose, like many other people, in the strange times that we're living in, lots of people are turning to growing their own food. They're beginning to realise that they need to become more independent and self-reliant. And that's why I have my herbal medicine as well. I want to be self-reliant. I don't want to have to go outside my home for medical help. And I want to be independent, and I want to be personally responsible for my own health and for that of my family as well. So that's another reason why I like to grow and harvest and forage for my own medicine. But I think it's very important to become self-reliant and independent. We're being told we have to do certain things, we have to comply with certain rules and regulations, we have to go here, we have to go there. And I feel that my personal autonomy is beginning to shrink and be restricted. And so, not going into a fear mentality, I'm welcoming the challenge. That's what I'm calling it. That's how I'm regarding what's happening at the moment in the world. I'm seeing all of this as a challenge, and I'm going to face the challenge by being self-reliant and independent and able to look after myself no matter what happens. And so for me, being on the herbal path, it's like coming home. You're coming home to yourself, to your own inner strengths. You're coming home to your own inner wisdom that had to be triggered by something. And you're coming home to, I suppose, an awakening, a realization that you are absolutely powerful as an individual. This is what I'm thinking. And when you have that power, you can face anything. And you can face anything with a good state of health. So there are some of the reasons why I am on a herbal path. I feel it's natural, it calls to me, it ticks all those boxes. And I think that, you know, there's so much fear mongering going on that, you know, if we change our perspective and see it as a challenge that we can rise to, we're in a much stronger place. And as I said at the beginning of this video, today is a leaf day. So I've got lots of greens here that I'm going to be sowing. I've got some kale, I've got some lettuce, I've got some rocket, I've got some mustard leaf, I've got spinach, and I've got some thyme. I'm going to sow all of these now because it's a leaf day. And it just reminds me again that one of the tenets of herbalism or herbal medicine, which to me is plant medicine, is that, as Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine. So I'm going to get on now with sowing lots of green foods. And I think green foods are probably the best you can actually eat because they're full of chlorophyll, which is basically sunshine. And as you probably know, or you may not know, our bodies are full of, we emit photons of light. We can't see it because our eyes don't have the equipment to see the photons of light that we are emitting. But the more green foods we eat, the more light we emit, and the more impact we're going to have on our friends and family and community, because we will be shining out to them. And it's raining now, so I'm glad I'm doing an inside job. So maybe you'd like to step onto the herbal path, and if you would, I offer some courses, or you might find something in person wherever you live, and it's just something that's really worth considering. So I'll carry on with this, and hope you have a wonderful week, and see you next Sunday. Hopefully by then the weather will have improved. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the weed handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.